There is nothing wrong with your internet. Do not attempt to adjust your settings. We are controlling the podcast. We control the squealing and the screams. We can make your heart flutter, your eyes blur from tears, or sharpen your mind to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit back. We are in control of what you hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your settings. You are about to experience the awe and mystery known as the female mind. You are now entering the Fangirl Zone.
Welcome to the Mudhorn Clan cast on the Fangirl Zone. I am Beskar Dave.
I'm Sean Fangirl S.
And I'm Steve. Today we're talking about Chapter 12 of The Mandalorian, titled The Siege, Episode 4 of Season 2. This episode was written by Jon Favreau and directed by Carl Weathers.
Nice.
I think they gave him an easy one to direct.
Yeah.
Here's your large action sequence.
Yes. And you get all the great lines.
Yeah. Funny how that works out.
Yeah, it just happened to work out that way. And honestly, though, when I had watched the end of it for some reason, like I flipped that in my head. I'm like, Carl Weathers wrote this one? What?
No.
Okay. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like things were not clicking right in my head.
I'm not going to give it we'll get to the ratings at the end. I'm not going to give it a very high one because, I mean, really, it was just gunfights and chase scene and the typical go over the edge of the cliff and scream the whole way down scene. I mean,
that had a very, what do I want to say? Like VR ride feel to it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it could be part of one of the Smuggler's Run or something. It's like, so you get the little lift in the stomach if you're like really into it. If you have a big giant TV, and everything, you get that lift. But yeah. I was questioning that.
I threatened to get an 85-inch TV the other day. That didn't go well.
Yeah, did the wife shut that one down?
Yeah, almost immediately.
I know the feeling, Dave.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Okay, I tried to get a big giant one. And I'm like, I don't think we have room. I had to be realistic. Damn it.
I have just telling Steve I have a new monitor here, and so I can do all my clan casting, Mudhorn clan casting, and the thing's gigantic. It's like right in my face. Like, do I really need something this big?
Yeah, never have to wear glasses again.
Yeah, I might have to burn a hole through my eyes. So I understand there was a little production gap in this last episode.
Okay, why do I keep hearing about this? And I didn't notice it. So please.
I didn't notice it.
Please fill us in.
Got this from Steve. I guess not even the Star Wars universe is immune from production gaps while watching this week's episode of The Mandalorian. Eagle-eyed fans spotted a visual mistake that gave Game of Thrones' infamous coffee cup scene a run for its money. I didn't even see that one either.
I had to go back and pause it to see that one.
Yeah. It was funny. So apparently the mistake was a plainclothes crew member just chilling out in the background of the scene where Mando, Cara Dune, and Greef Karga get into a shootout with a pair of officers frankly trying to delete some incriminating data from the mainframe and that Imperial outpost on Navarro. If you pause the stream in 1854, you will see the torso of someone wearing a jeans, t-shirt, and a watch. A gap. You can even see one of the production stills available on Disney's official site. Oversights like this aren't new to Star Wars. In fact, the most iconic blooper dates back to the very first movie in 1977 when one of the stormtroopers bumped their heads on a door. Yeah, that was a good one. The Mandalorian's goof up isn't as obvious, but it'll probably come back as being just as notorious. Did you know? I think they were in the Lord of the Rings. I think the Fellowship of the Ring. In the deep background, you can watch a car drive by in the distance.
Right, yeah.
What?
Yeah, right in the beginning.
My gosh, you know how many times I've watched that? I've never noticed that.
Yep.
Yeah, they finally deleted it out of all the other versions that they sold.
Yeah,
I did have somebody say that this whole thing was actually just an Easter egg for all of you people who have been watching since the very beginning of Star Wars, because the old Star Wars movies, you pretty much had like half the people like in frame that shouldn't have been in frame.
Well, when they first blew up the Death Star, Luke jumps out of his X-Wing fighter and sees his sister, but he yells out, Carrie, called her by Carrie Fisher's real name. That's
what?
Yeah, he yells out, Carrie. Yeah, good to see you too, buddy.
Yeah, but this shot is just, if you do pause it and look for it, you'll see the guy standing just under Grief's arm as he's pointing at, as he's shooting.
Yeah. Well, he didn't want to miss the scene. This is going to be cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I know it's not the same, but this was the week for the final episode of Supernatural, and there was a guy in the background that I don't know if they intended to be there. Like, he's watching the scene, and you see him cracking up.
Really?
He was, like, out of focus. But, I mean, it could have worked because the particular scene, it's like he just looks over and he sees the brothers, and the one, like, shoves a pie in the other one's face. So he starts busting up. So, I mean, if you were just on the street and you seen that, like, I would probably start cracking up too. But I don't know if that was intended. And so now thinking about this, I'm like, I know your focus is supposed to be on, like, the main people, but it's like when stuff like that happens, I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing to pull focus sometimes, but I don't know. I find it amusing, but I'm weird, I guess. So I'm not like, how dare they have that? That's how you see all the cool stuff, like the ghost in the film kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, enough about this rando stuff. Let's get into Mando stuff.
Rando Mando.
Episode 4. The Mandalorian rejoins old allies for a new mission. Thank you. You're about to the level of sci-fi trolling us with these horrible recaps.
Yeah. Getting close. All right, let's get into some initial reactions, Dave.
Well, like I said, I'm going to spoiler alert my own talk here. I liked it well enough, but after watching the latest Discovery episode, the stakes were a lot higher in Discovery's episode because everyone had agency. I'll tell you my main problem with this. Wouldn't it have been better to see Mando jet off to rescue Baby Yoda rather than seeing these guys escape on the trooper bus? I know that had more stakes to it. The baby's in danger. He finds out Moff Gideon is still alive. He's in a room full of kids. You don't want that. If that isn't stakes, I don't know what is.
Right.
I mean, I was like, oh my God, get back there now. But we never see it.
Right.
It's all off camera. Instead, we get the flying bus.
I do have to agree with you with that particular moment. And I know we're kind of jumping up just because I feel like it was like there could have been something happening. Like there could have just been stormtroopers in the town or something like closing in and we don't know. And it's like, I want to know what happened. Although what we watched, I don't think it was bad, but it was like, oh, it could have been.
Yeah. But there's nobody watching the town either.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, Grief's gone, the Marshal's gone, Mando's gone. Like, what did we just do? Left the back door open. No,
the world is running amok.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Grief promised Mando that the child would be safe.
Even though nobody's there.
Right.
That's why it made me wonder. I'm like, okay, how many droids have you reprogrammed to possibly keep just all the kids safe?
Right. That C-3PO wannabe might have been fully loaded with armor.
Well, that would have been a good time to have, what was it, IG-88?
Yes.
In town. The writers are like, damn, why'd we kill him off?
Yeah. Okay, Sean?
I liked it. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite episode. But I did enjoy it. But yeah, it did feel like more of just an action, like flick as opposed to really moving the story. There was little parts that I felt moved the story and a lot of it that was just like filler.
Yeah, we got teased. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree. The big thing for me was the Razor Crest is actually fixed, but
thank God.
But we have that turncoat mechanic that has put a signaling beacon on it.
Yeah, traitor.
And you saw that a mile away. As soon as he looks back at Mando, you know that this isn't going to end well.
Oh, yeah.
But of course, that may play into our theory that Bo-Katan may beat Mando to Corvus so she can be ready to get the Darksaber back. So next episode might be really great.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
The stakes should be a lot higher.
Yep.
So you guys want to get to our top 3 moments?
Of course.
Yes.
Okay. My number 3 moment is, and I might be jumping the gun on you guys. You may have the same one. It's called It's Worth a Shot. That was the opening scene before the title card.
Right.
When Baby Yoda gets an electrical lesson with a shocking outcome.
Oh, yeah, that was funny.
No, now put the red cable in the red cable in the blue where you just pulled it out. No, where you just pulled it out. Now don't touch the ends. Now, yes, that one. And he's there. Okay, I was going to say, like, I am Groot. No,
no. Yeah, that was really good. I did like that. I was laughing, but I have to say my number 3 is Give Me a Cookie.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this, as much as I like our not Baby Yoda, he's kind of a little bully, isn't he?
He asked first.
He did ask first.
And he was told no. He's like,
Nope.
Don't, really? You gonna tell
Don't
me
make me
no?
use the force on you.
At least he didn't choke a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Give him a little pinch.
But yeah, I mean, I thought that was funny. And I was just sitting there like, what? You didn't see anything, did you? Crunch, crunch.
So cute.
Even without having like a ton of expression on his face, much like Mando, he was like, but go ahead, try it. He's like challenging that kid. What about you?
My number 3 is Shocking Development. That final scene on the Imperial ship, which who knew Moss had a ship that big? Because we sure didn't see it when we first met him.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. How is that thing hidden? I mean, just say, like Klingon bird of prey or like Romulan technology. What's going on here?
Yeah, if they're patrolling that quadrant, don't you think the
They might notice
our
that.
public would notice that thing?
You would think, unless that's a whole lot bigger than we think it might be, that area.
Oh, it is space.
Yeah.
But still.
Now we see the holo from one of the mechanics Grief had working on the Razor Crest, who confirms that the device has been planted as requested. We see this officer run to Moss Gideon that the tracking beacon has been installed on Mando's ship, and yes, the asset is with him. Gideon swears they'll be ready, and he turns to take stock of the Dark Trooper suits being prepared for use. Go, holy crap. Is that going to be a whole army of clone Darth Vaders?
That's what I wondered.
Yeah.
I thought it was just, I thought, well, that's an evil leap, even for me. But I wondered, because my number 2 one, we can jump ahead a little bit, was the clone tubes in the reveal of all those possible Snokes floating in the stuff.
I was wondering if those were supposed to be Snokes or Vader or what, or
They
the
look
Emperor.
Snokey, if that's okay to say. And they mentioned M count.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, midichlorians. And they also mentioned a volunteer. Like, who's the volunteer? And he doesn't want to kill the volunteer. I'm like, what volunteer?
They were voluntold. Come on.
Huh?
They were voluntold.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wonder if they have somebody important they want to introduce.
See, I was trying to think of the timeline because my number 2, it was with those clones and then the suits. It were kind of together because I'm assuming whatever was in the tubes were going in the suits.
That's what I thought too.
I wasn't sure though. I'm like, okay. I was asking my husband, I'm like, are those supposed to be Vader? Are they supposed to be the Emperor? I didn't even think of Snow. But timeline wise, we're before The Force Awakens. So, I mean, we don't even know if, I was going to say the twins, and I know that's not canon anymore because the way the movies are, but the Solo child has been born at this point because we're only so many years after Jedi.
Right.
I think 5 years after Jedi at this point.
Yep.
So I'm wondering who it's supposed to be and what they're supposed to be. That's why I was just like, all right, is this kind of a throwback to the, what is it, Skywalker, The Rise of Skywalker, where we got the reveal about the clone.
Right.
It's like, is this where it was starting?
Yeah.
So that's my number 2 because it just raised a ton of questions for me.
Yeah, in the hologram you see a little patch on the Good Doctor, and
Good Doctor.
Yeah. And it happens to identify the place where all the cloning was taking place. So that's what that's got to be what he's involved in, is cloning and getting some Yoda blood to give this clone more power.
I think I had mentioned that was one of the rabbit holes I fell down. The first episode was that he was wearing a cloner doctor or whatever outfit. And that just kind of, I knew it had to come back, but I wasn't really thinking about it. Like, I don't know about you guys. It just was never in the forefront. So it's interesting to see where we might end up with it.
For a second there, I thought he was trying to clone Dark Troopers that were Force capable.
Right.
I'm like, what?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to have to admit, I don't understand the Dark Troopers because the only ones I've ever seen in black were the ones who were on the Death Star. I thought. Weren't they in black? The ones, they had like a different helmet and stuff.
Oh, the TIE fighter pilots?
Yeah, thank you. I had a brain
That's
fart.
different. Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, my
So
number
what-
2 is the roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
Ha, I love that.
Yeah, as Grief and company raced to town in the open plains with the 3 remaining TIE fighters on their ass. Mando arrives just in time with the now repaired, brand new looking Razor Crest to take them all
Suddenly.
out. With the child seat belted in, at least, excitedly in the passenger seat as Mando flies at breakneck speeds to shoot down all the final enemies. It was like he was on a giant roller coaster and he was just having a blast until it's over and he tosses those cookies.
I know, he goes, woo!
Bleh. That was quite amusing. And I don't know. I'm seriously asking you guys, do you feel like they're trying to set up another virtual ride with some of these episodes?
Ugh,
Especially this episode, I should say.
why not? Why not?
This
It
was a roller
had that
coaster
feel.
ride in several different parts of the story.
Mm-hmm.
One of the earlier scenes has all the speeder bikes parked in like a speeder bike hangar.
Yeah.
I'm like, chase scene. We're going to see a
Yep, here it
chase scene.
comes.
Yeah. Those guys
Oh
never
my
end
God,
up
wait.
well.
You were able to see the speeder bikes? I did not notice till they came flying out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
When they first walked in, they're getting around, and there's a hangar. It's full of speeder bikes.
Yeah.
I
Now, of
really
course,
need to
Kara
watch it.
mentions
Yeah.
the thing that they ended up taking, but yeah, there were some speeder bikes in there.
Well, my number one scene was Moff Gideon and the Dark Troopers, because at least that opened up a world, dark world of possibilities.
Right.
What is this guy up to? And he's got a giant ship, and was that the first female officer we've seen for the Imperial or the old
Yes,
Empire?
I think so.
I think so too. I like her.
She looked really familiar,
Mhm.
but I have no idea. I honestly have no idea why, though. Because when I looked her up, nothing was jumping at me.
Right.
Yeah, that's my number one. I just now I want to see what happens.
My number one was Mithril, and it's Horatio Sands, who also does, I believe, a voice in one of the animated ones, and I'm having a brain fart because I know he was at, oh no, he wasn't in. I'm thinking Bobby Moynihan. But Horatio Sands, because it was just the right amount of comedy with it, because I feel like it's almost more what just a regular person would say. It's like, yeah, you go ahead. I'll just wait here. I don't have a gun or anything. I'm going to chill.
I can
So,
really speed out of here.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Mithril has got to be my number one. But I will tell you, when we first see him and he's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's hi. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
who's he selling them out to? Like, I was freaking out.
And hot and lava?
Yeah. I don't like any of these things.
No. Well, of course, my number one has to be Escape from the Lava Dome. That was just classic Star Wars escape scene.
Mhm.
They take the Marauder and go over the side. And of course, they have to land on Mithril's speeder and just smash it all to hell.
That was funny.
And of course, the speeder, just those guys are so incompetent. Because half of them crashed into each other before they even got into the first turn. And
Yeah, if they're not walking into gunfire, they're crashing into stuff.
yeah. And Grief does a pretty good job manning the guns. Well, because he gets one and then Kara smashes one and we get the other guy on the other side that gets on top and is about to drop an explosive through, and Grief gets him before he can.
Yeah.
But he didn't have as much luck with the ties. Of course, he does finally get one, but of course it takes out the guns and you just go, oh man, because they got this big open area that they're just sitting ducks. So that was my number one, is Escape from Lava Dome.
Lava Dome.
Escape from Lava Dome.
It sounds like that's like a horror movie or something. Or another Mad Max. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's talk about our honorable mentions, because I don't know. I feel like there were several that almost made the top three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave, what do you got?
I got about three of them. I like the martial fight scene in the beginning with Cara Dune, and she's using everybody's body for shielding. And at one point, she grabs one guy, rolls over. She's got the guy on his back, and his former compatriot there is blasting away and hitting the guy. And she made a rat buddy, or whatever that thing was.
A little ferret weasel thingy.
Yeah, I liked another honorable mention was the Grief Baby talk when he picks up Baby Yoda and says, "Aren't you the cutest little thing?" Did he take care of you? He said he took care of you. I also like the Mando's rescue when he comes charging in with a Razor Crest. They did it better on Discovery with books and ship, but still fun. What about you, Sean?
I'd have to say the little weasel thing that was like, "Oh, you saved me, yay!" And she's like, "Get the hell off of me!" But I mean, that was one. And the throwback from the Stormtroopers must have blown a transformer. Let's go check it out.
Yeah,
it's like, do they have any other lines ever? Because these are like things that we've heard them say. It's like, "Oh, the Death Star is going to explode. Must have blown a transformer. Let's go check it out." And I'm sorry, but seriously, it's got to be the helmets because they can't hit the broadside of a barn. Right. It's like, what is happening? So yeah, the throwbacks, the weasel. I'd have to say the baby throwing up, which sounds like weird because it's like, and then Mando, I'm like, oh, he really is like every mom ever, just grabs his cloak and is wiping it off. It's like, ew. How many times have I seen a mom just like wipe it off with their hand though? It's like, oh my God, this is like, okay, that's a little too much reality for me. Thanks. But yeah, there it is. Those are my honorable mentions for this week.
Well,
what about you, Steve?
I've got a couple, of course. The opening with Baby Yoda, electrical engineer, not quite, trying to follow Mando's directions onto what wire to put where.
I did like that, though.
Yeah.
At least he didn't put him in his mouth.
Yeah. But he seems to have taken all that voltage without even a scratch, so that was good. And it was interesting to see when, afterwards they're sitting down having a drink together, and Mando's having to lift his helmet up so he can take a drink, so.
Oh my gosh, I almost forgot about that. That was great. And the baby's like, wait, hey, I can kind of see. I can see up your nose.
Peek in there.
Yeah. And my other honorable mention was schooling the child. We get to see that wonderful C-3PO wannabe in Grief just setting the child down, saying, "He's safe. Don't worry about it. We need to talk." And Yoda goes after the cookies. Now, there was one small Easter egg, as one of the girls sports the same 3-bun hairstyle as Rey. So
I noticed that.
Yeah,
nice.
Wasn't that cool? I wonder if it was a young Rey. Very well could have been.
I'm like, all this happened in the course of a school day is what I'm guessing. It's like, we're going to have to get off at school. It's fine. We'll go take down the Empire.
Right.
We'll be back before dismissal.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into ratings.
Oh my gosh. This one I have to say is kind of hard because I liked it, but it wasn't like, yes. So, I'm going to go with 2.5 cookies. 2.5 blue cookies. Let me, stress that.
Yeah.
Just because like I said, I liked it. There was action, but I didn't feel like we moved forward enough.
Right.
Steve, what about you?
I gave it 3.5 out of 5 M counts.
Well, I don't know. The M count's kind of higher than everything else.
Yeah.
Dave, what are you looking at?
I gave it 2.5 frazzled green babies. I have to agree with Sean. They just didn't push the plot forward. There's only so many shows. Right, I've complained about their storytelling before, where they just have another in-between type of episode, and all of a sudden, boom, they drop the info dump on you, and everything happens at once, and everyone says, greatest series ever. Right. It'd be great if all the episodes were great or near great.
Yeah.
You would think that they could do that. I mean, we've seen some other a season with few episodes where they were really kicked butt all over the place. So
sure.
I was actually arguing with this about something else. I'm like, can we have full seasons again? Like, I want full seasons. Somebody's like, well, the stuff is longer, so that's why they only have like 7 or 8 episodes. I'm like, hello, then you look at this and we have some of the episodes that are literally like 18 minutes. Like, no. I don't care if we're talking about like an hour-long show. If it's not moving the story along, then it's not enough episodes. If you have 8, you're like, well, it's 8 hours. It doesn't matter if you're not moving the story along in the episode.
Right.
Give me 22 episodes again. I want real seasons or like real episodes. Like, I don't want to see an 18-minute episode again of this. I want longer.
It's something Fringe used to do back in the day too. They'd have an nice episode. At the very end, they would drop a bomb on you.
Right.
And you couldn't wait for the next week.
Or the next season.
Yeah, the next season.
Like, oh yeah, let's dangle this. And then of course, at least we're lucky enough we know we're getting more with this and they're moving things along. Whereas certain shows Steve and I have happened to discuss,
Yeah.
it's like, here's a huge bombshell and we're not coming back.
Yeah.
Like, what just happened? Like you're in the corner, like just like rocking with your what happened? So I just need this to move forward because yeah, Dave, 100%. You know, there's only so many episodes, and it's stressing me out.
I know we shouldn't complain because we wouldn't have we deserve a Mandalorian show. Well, maybe we don't deserve it, but if it wasn't this show, we wouldn't be so into it and chattering about it. And the effects are great.
Oh my gosh, they are like mini movies. I totally give them kudos for that. I love that this is happening.
They've got 4 episodes to complete this story, or at least leave us at 4 episodes and then leave us at a cliffhanger, no doubt.
Yes,
oh my gosh,
absolutely.
They better not wait till the last episode to get to Shaka.
Yeah.
Or Ashoka, whatever. Snips.
Yeah,
whatever
Ashoka,
it is. That would be depressing. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, our friend Fred from the Netherlands was watching the episode earlier this morning, so he hasn't been able to provide us feedback for this episode, but I'm sure we will have it for next episode. I hope.
Yep, I'm sure we will.
Yep.
If anyone else would like to chime in, please review and rate us on iTunes and any other platform you use for your podcast. With good ratings and reviews, it helps other fans of the show find us, as there are plenty of other Mandalorian podcasts out there. Tell your friends, and I hope you're enjoying our podcast, and don't forget to check out the other great Fangirl Zone podcasts.
You can check us out at www.fangirlzone.com, and it's probably the easiest place to find all of our contact information. But of course, you can send us email directly for the Mudhorn mail at fangirlzone.com. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, pretty much everywhere. And again, so much easier going to our contact page on the website because none of our stuff is the same because we need to be totally unique.
We are.
Well, this is Steve. You want to come back here and try this? Be my guest.
This is Sean. There's no guardrail on here.
And this is Beskar Dave. Do you know how hard it is to get blue baby puke off your Beskar armor? It's not easy.